Imagine a bomb so powerful that it could wipe out an entire city in seconds. A bomb that could unleash a fireball hotter than the sun and a shockwave that could level buildings for miles. A bomb that could release radiation that could kill or harm people for years to come. Now imagine that there are thousands of such bombs in the world, and some of them could be launched at any moment. Sounds scary, right? Well, this is not a science fiction scenario. This is the reality of nuclear weapons. Nuclear weapons are the most destructive weapons ever invented by humans. They use nuclear reactions to create enormous amounts of energy and explosive force. There are two types of nuclear weapons: atomic bombs and hydrogen bombs. Atomic bombs use nuclear fission, or the splitting of atoms, to release energy. Hydrogen bombs use nuclear fusion, or the joining of atoms, to release even more energy. In this video, we are going to explore the history of nuclear weapons, how they were developed, who has them, how many there are, what effects they have, and what efforts are being made to get rid of them. We will also learn about some of the key events and people that shaped the nuclear age. So buckle up and get ready for a blast from the past. The history of nuclear weapons begins in the early 20th century, when scientists discovered that some elements, such as uranium and radium, could emit radiation and transform into other elements. This process was called radioactivity. In 1934, a Hungarian physicist named Leo Szilard patented the idea of a nuclear chain reaction, where one atom splits and releases neutrons that can split other atoms, creating a self-sustaining reaction that releases huge amounts of energy. However, it was not until World War II that nuclear weapons became a reality. In 1939, Albert Einstein and other scientists warned President Franklin D. Roosevelt that Nazi Germany might be working on an atomic bomb. Roosevelt then authorized a secret project to develop an atomic bomb before the Nazis. This project was called the Manhattan Project and involved thousands of scientists and engineers from the United States, Britain, Canada and France. The Manhattan Project succeeded in creating the first atomic bomb in 1945. It used enriched uranium or plutonium as the fissile material. The bomb had two designs: a gun-type design, where a projectile of uranium was fired into a target of uranium to create a critical mass, and an implosion-type design, where a sphere of plutonium was compressed by explosives to create a critical mass. The first atomic bomb test took place on July 16, 1945, in the desert north of Alamogordo, New Mexico. The test was code-named Trinity and used an implosion-type device nicknamed the Gadget. The test released energy equivalent to 22 kilotons of TNT, far more powerful than any weapon ever used before. A few weeks later, the United States decided to use atomic bombs against Japan, which was still fighting in World War II. On August 6, 1945, a B-29 bomber named Enola Gay dropped an atomic bomb code named Little Boy on Hiroshima, Japan. The bomb used a gun-type design and contained about 64 kilograms, 140 pounds, of highly enriched uranium. It exploded with a force of about 15 kilotons of TNT and killed about 70,000 people instantly and another 70,000 by the end of the year. 3 days later, another B-29 bomber named Boxcar dropped an atomic bomb code named Fat Man on Nagasaki, Japan. The bomb used an implosion-type design and contained about 6 kilograms, 13 pounds, of plutonium. It exploded with a force of about 21 kilotons of TNT and killed about 40,000 people instantly and another 40,000 by the end of the year. These two bombings are the only times that nuclear weapons have been used in war. They shocked the world and led to Japan's surrender on August 15, 1945, ending World War II. However, the atomic bomb was not the end of nuclear weapons development. In 1949, the Soviet Union tested its first atomic bomb, ending the U.S. monopoly on nuclear weapons. This sparked a nuclear arms race between the two superpowers during the Cold War. Both sides sought to create more powerful and efficient nuclear weapons. In 1952, the United States tested its first hydrogen bomb, which used nuclear fusion as well as fission to create an explosion equivalent to 10 megatons of TNT. In 1953, the Soviet Union tested its first hydrogen bomb as well. Hydrogen bombs use two stages: a primary stage that uses fission to trigger a secondary stage that uses fusion. The fusion stage uses isotopes of hydrogen called deuterium and tritium that are fused together by high temperatures and pressures created by the fission stage. The fusion stage can release much more energy than the fission stage alone. The most powerful nuclear weapon ever tested was the Tsar Bomba by the Soviet Union in 1961. It had a yield of 50 megatons of TNT and was equivalent to about 3,800 Hiroshima bombs. Since then, several other countries have developed nuclear weapons as well. Britain in 1952, France in 1960, China in 1964, Israel in the late 1960s, although it has never officially confirmed it, India in 1974, Pakistan in 1998 and North Korea in 2006. These countries are not part of the NPT and have developed their nuclear weapons outside of the international treaty. The NPT is an agreement that aims to prevent the spread of nuclear weapons and promote disarmament. It has been signed by 191 states, including the 5 original nuclear weapon states: the US, Russia, UK, France and China. These countries are allowed to have nuclear weapons because they tested them before 1967, when the treaty came into effect. However, they also have to reduce their arsenals and work towards eliminating them. The other countries that have nuclear weapons are not part of the NPT and have faced international sanctions and pressure for their nuclear activities. For example, Iran signed the NPT but was accused of secretly developing nuclear weapons. In 2015, Iran agreed to limit its nuclear program in exchange for sanctions relief. However, in 2018, the US withdrew from the deal and reimposed sanctions on Iran. Iran then resumed some of its nuclear activities that were restricted by the deal. North Korea is another country that has defied the international community with its nuclear weapons program. North Korea joined the NPT in 1985 but withdrew in 2003 after being accused of violating the treaty. Since then, North Korea has conducted 6 nuclear tests and developed several types of ballistic missiles that can deliver nuclear warheads. North Korea claims that it needs nuclear weapons to deter a US invasion. The number of nuclear weapons in the world has decreased since the peak of the Cold War, when there were more than 70,000 warheads. According to the Stockholm International Peace Research Institute, SIPRI, as of 2021, there are about 13,080 nuclear warheads in the world, of which more than 90% belong to Russia or the US. About 3,825 warheads are deployed with operational forces, meaning they can be launched at short notice. Nuclear weapons pose a grave threat to humanity and the planet. Their explosions can cause massive death and destruction, as well as long-term environmental and health effects. Their use could also trigger a nuclear winter, a global cooling caused by dust and smoke blocking sunlight and lowering temperatures. This could lead to crop failures and famine around the world. That is why many people and organizations have been working to prevent nuclear war and achieve a world free of nuclear weapons. Some examples are the International Campaign to Abolish Nuclear Weapons, ICAN, which won the Nobel Peace Prize in 2017 for its efforts to promote a global treaty banning nuclear weapons, and the Bulletin of Atomic Scientists, which publishes an annual Doomsday clock that shows how close we are to a nuclear catastrophe. The history of nuclear weapons is a history of scientific discovery, political rivalry, human ambition and moral dilemma. It is also a history that is not over yet. As long as nuclear weapons exist, there is always a risk that they could be used by accident, miscalculation or intention. The only way to ensure that they never are is to eliminate them completely. Thank you for watching this episode. If you enjoyed it, please like, share and subscribe for more videos like this. And don't forget to leave your comments and questions below. See you next time.